So I watched The Visit last night. It's a horror movie that I've been wanting to see for a little while now. I knew about the twist with the grandparents not being the grandparents, but I didn't know like the full story of it. It's a clip that gets circulated on TikTok every now and then, so I've seen that clip, and that's all I've seen of this movie. Um, the movie's fine. It has its problems. There's a lot of stuff I don't like about it. The mom is played by the same girl that's in WandaVision and Agatha. She's Agatha. Um, and funnily enough, the opening scene is like a documentary, but it feels like a sitcom interview, like what WandaVision was. So it's pretty funny that she was in this movie doing that stuff way before WandaVision. Anyway, so the plot of the movie is the mom had a big argument with her grandparents, and we don't know what happens until the end of the movie. But whatever happened made them estranged. She hasn't talked to her grandparents in 15 years. One day, they reach out to her on social media. They say, "Hey, I want to see the grandkids." She agrees. Actually, she doesn't agree. Um, the she tells her kids about it, and they say they want to go, but she doesn't want them to go. But apparently, they told her they're going anyway. Um, Great parenting, mom, not being able to tell put your foot down with your kids. But anyway, also this is a found footage movie. It has the two kids recording with cameras the entire movie. I do think that adds a little bit to the creepiness of it. I think this movie is genuinely unsettling at parts. First time I've been unsettled by a horror movie in a while, because you really just don't know what the fuck is going on. Um, I wish I wouldn't have known about the plot twist, but I did. But I didn't know the full story, so I mean, there's that. Um, so at first the family seems fine. They get a little bit odd as the movie goes on and on. They get odder and odder. I do wish we spent more time with the grandpa. It feels like we mainly spend time with the grandma and showing her weirdness and not the grandpa. Like, I feel like he was very underdeveloped. Uh, anyway, the main kid is played by an actor I know. He was Alexander in Alexander the Great. Not the Great, Alexander the Terrible, No Good, Horrible, Very Bad Day, which is based off a book I used to read as a kid. And he's also the friend character in Better Watch Out. He's the friend of the little shit. Um, and that's crazy. There's three movies I've seen that were all in back-to-back years: 2014, 2015, 2016. Um, anyway, he does a decent job in this. He is a little bit mean, and his sister's also kind of mean. She starts like trying to push him about opening up about how he feels about dad leaving. And she's recording when she's doing this. It's one thing to try and get your sibling to open up about trauma. It's another thing to record it. Like, that was a big criticism I had with Black Christmas 2019. Anyway, and he's clearly not a big fan of that, but she keeps pushing him. So he ends up pushing her, apparently about her self-esteem issues. He's like, every time you look in the mirror, you don't look at yourself. You look away. When you brush your hair, you don't look. When you brush your teeth, you look down. And he keeps pushing her and pushing her and pushing her, and eventually is like, well, it's not so fun when it's you, is it? And it just feels so unnecessarily cruel. It feels like they're more padding the runtime, if anything, because it doesn't really add to anything. I know not every scene has to add to the movie, but it's just, I don't know. I don't feel like it was necessary. It's just him being mean to his sister, and it's revealed she has self-esteem issues. And that's it. He doesn't apologize to her. It doesn't lead them to getting into a fight later. It's just a scene of him being pointlessly rude to her. Um, They also get told one time early on in the movie to not go into the basement, but they act like it's a bigger thing than it is. Like, yeah, obviously it ends up being a bad thing. But you know, the kid acts like it's something that they've been told a lot. Maybe they told him a lot not in the movie. But he just tells him once early on in the movie. And he's like, they really don't want us to go in the basement. What if there's something down there? If anything, the thing that was told to them the most was to not leave the room after 9:30, which they end up doing anyway, even after later they promised to not leave the room again. Um, there's a lot of creepy stuff that happens in the movie. You know, you get to the reveal. They're able to get away with it for a little bit because the grandma's accidentally, but obviously not accidentally, spills some stuff on the camera. So every time they video call their mom, they won't see the grandparents if they were in the background or something. So it's, clearly meant to be something to, uh, make an excuse why the mom doesn't know that it's different people. But, what if they were there? I mean, I think she would be able to, hear them and be like, that's not my parents' voices. But whatever. So eventually, they use the computer and like, oh, they're out in the back, and you get the reveal of Becca. That's not your grandparents. You've been staying with these people the whole time. And then it gets to one of the most tense scenes of the movie. Now you have the children understanding that the people they're with right now aren't their family, and they've been claiming to be their family, and they've been acting weird, and they've had some somewhat violent reactions to questions. They are not safe people to be around. And they asked to do a family board game night. Oh, there's also a little bit of needless tension. It happens twice in the movie where the grandma asks the Becca to clean the inside of the oven by getting in it. It's clearly meant to make you think, oh, she might do something to her, and nothing happens. And then they do it again, and nothing happens. It's clearly meant for attention. Like, it somewhat works the first time, but it doesn't really work the second time, especially since the little brother is there. I doubt she would try and kill the kid in front of his brother, but whatever. When they start playing the board game for family game night, things go wrong because it's past 9:30 when they start to get weird. So, Becca makes an excuse that her camera battery's low and she needs to go change it, but in reality, she's actually going down to the basement, which I thought was kind of fucked up, that she's just leaving her brother there with the two people that she now knows aren't her grandparents, leaving him by himself. It's such a shitty thing to do, in my opinion. Then she finds the dead corpses of her grandparents. She had thought that they might be alive. And she was like saying their name, Nana, Pop, where are you? But they're not. The granddad confronts her, and it turns out the grandparents were killed by some of the psychiatric patients that they used to volunteer for, and they were trying to take over their life. They also killed this girl, Stacy, off screen, who showed up in 1-2 scenes in the movie, who was apparently a patient that really liked the actual grandparents. And, yeah. So, eventually he, throws her in a closet, and he decides to go deal with the kid instead, the other kid. And, she gets... Actually, she wasn't thrown into a closet. She was locked in the room with the grandma. And she's able to kill the grandma, and it's a very shitty kill. I mean, it's PG-13, but come on. you barely see what's going on, but I think she kills her with some glass from the mirror that the grandma like bounced her head off of. And then the son, he kills the grandpa. And there's a little gross scene. It feels really unnecessary where the grandpa takes off his pants and puts his diaper on the kid's face. And it has been established in this movie that this kid is a germaphobe. There's like a scene where he like touched the toilet handle or something, and he's out of tissues, and he gets really upset about that and doesn't think he'll ever be able to clean his hand again. So this feels just like needlessly cruel. I don't even think it was established to the granddad, because it's not his actual granddad that this was like a fear of his. I think this was just something that the sister knew, not the granddad. But yeah, he just goes, "You have a problem with germs, right?" And then he puts the diaper on him. It's so gross and so cruel. But I guess it does work for you to hate these people. But at the same time, we don't really get, they're psychiatric patients. They're like messed up in the head. Are we supposed to like hate them for that or what? I don't know. I feel like they're obviously bad people, but they can't help it, if that makes sense. It'd be one thing if they were just evil people, but they're people that are clearly struggling with something. Like they say that one of them has dementia and she has sundowns or something like that. I Googled it when watching the movie, and it's a real thing. That actually is Googled in the movie too. Um, and the end of the movie, the mom reunites with the two kids, and the movie ends with her finally explaining what happened to make her estranged with her grandparents. Well, with her parents, the kids' grandparents. And it was the fact that she was 19 and wanted to get with an older man, and the mom did not want that to happen. She hit the mom, the dad hit her, and then they tried to call her, most likely apologize. She just says call, and that she ignored their calls. And they were always reaching out to her, but she never called back. And then she breaks down crying, saying that you should never let anger control you, and she should have forgiven them. Because now she obviously doesn't have the chance because they're dead. And then the movie ends. Very strange note to end the movie on. Is this supposed to be a horror movie or a sappy movie that's telling you that, you need to forgive people? It's a good movie, but it's got a lot of flaws.